According to the latest stats, the impact of COVID-19 outbreak has been devastating to school pupils and the education sector at large. As it is, the school calendar in the country has been severely disrupted. UNICEF is concerned about this, and its Chief of Education, Wycliffe Otieno, joins us to talk more on this. Good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time tonight. Schools are set to reopen on Monday. That's if the President's announcement tomorrow does not put a spanner in the works. Can we do so safely?
Thank you very much, and good evening to you and to your listeners. Great to be with you all this evening. Yes, indeed, schools can open and can open safely for the simple reason that much preparation has gone into this particular phase of the school calendar 2021. As you are aware, much learning also has been made from the first two waves that we had, and preparations in terms of ensuring that the requisite PPEs are in schools actually has been done. This is a priority of the department, working together with stakeholders. There has been significant monitoring of all schools in the country in terms of preparedness. And you know that before schools open, educators and other teachers would also be coming like 1 week before schools open. So it's our belief that schools are actually ready to return, and learners themselves are actually looking forward to being in school once again.
And one of the things that the department is talking about is the issue of rotational attendance, which it says has caused some of the pupils to, lose out on some learning time. How bad has it been?
It's been very bad. If you look at it in the sense that on average 70 days have been lost for all learners across the grades. Those who've lost the least is about 57 days. Those who've lost the most, more than 87. And that has got significant impact in terms of the future of these children. And I want us to look at school loss, or when schools are closed. It's not just the number of days we are focusing on. It's the impact of not being in school in terms of acquiring the skills, the competencies and the knowledge, in terms of really preparing to have a much needed improvement in the learning outcomes. You know, when children are not taught, then that particular opportunity is lost. We know that we are coming from a very low base. Significant improvement were being made. Then the disruption actually resulted into a catastrophic impact in terms of future earnings, in terms of employability, in terms of the sheer probability of children dropping out. We had problems, particularly around grade 10, but now we are having the massive dropout potential across all grades. And that is very deleterious to the future of this country.
And how bad has the dropout rate been, according to your assessment?
It's been bad. It's been bad. And the figures indicate that upwards of 750,000 children stand the risk of dropping out completely. When we're giving dropouts of 300,000 in the first wave and second, and up to 600,000 in the current wave that we are experiencing, let us understand these are not dropouts that are permanent dropouts. These are temporary dropouts with a very high risk of permanent dropout if nothing is not done. And one of those things that may lead to this permanence in dropout is either prolonged closure again or another rotational round of opening. That is why UNICEF is of the position that children should come in school all at once, given all the preparations that have been made. And progress has been made actually to ensure that the schools are prepared for all children to come to school.
Which areas would you say are of concern as you have been looking at the dropout rate and also then the, the rate of those who are missing out on school when it comes to rotational attendance?
Just to get clarification, areas as in, are you meaning geographical? Or?
Yes, geographical.
You know, given what was happening during when schools were closed, three categories are at the most serious risk: rural schools, township schools, farm communities, generally schools classified as quintiles 1 to 3. And you know that these schools constitute up to nearly 3/4 of all number of schools and of all school population in this particular country. So really, you can say it is the poor, because these particular regions tend to be inhabited by the poor generally. So the poor are actually the ones who are most at risk. Children of higher socioeconomic groups who are able to have gadgets, have data, have access to online learning, attend private schools, they are not as badly affected. So we are talking of those who are at a disadvantage, their disadvantage actually being doubled or being aggravated if nothing actually is not done.
At the beginning of the lockdown, we saw some concerns around women who are single mothers who are going to then battle with some of their children at home who don't have child care. Does that problem still persist from what the work that you've done, or does it look like things are easing up on that front?
It's not easing up. It is still persistent and very serious. And indeed, let me just be very, very emphatic and very clear that part of the problem of dropout will affect girls significantly. And those girls, because of their vulnerability, chances of getting pregnant is high. And then becoming even mothers again at a very tender age is also very high. So it's also the protection of those particular people who are likely to be young mothers who may find themselves in that position. But the mothers who have had significant problems dealing with their children, that problem still persists. And it persists beyond what we actually think, because some of these mothers may not be having very good jobs. Some of them may be doing manual jobs. And putting food on the table is a problem. School nutrition program provides a very good nutrition for their children. And when the children are not in school to be able to access this nutrition, then they are having a double pain of feeding their children and not having sufficient nutritious meal to place. And sometimes not even being able to afford 3 meals in a day.